Hey everybody, today is December 10th, so we'll be looking at December 9th's MTG stocks. Um, Nothing too big in price spikes or anything, but got some cool cards. We'll be looking at some price increases and we'll be looking at some price decreases. I think I'm going to try and start doing some more price decreases because I think it's going to be probably a little bit more interesting doing that way. I also want to preface this, and I probably should have prefaced this a long time ago, but when I look at these prices and stuff, I think I've said it before, kind of, but you got to be careful with these things in the sense of like if you are trying to spec into these things, usually if the price has increased, it's already too late. And if the price has decreased, then I don't know. That really doesn't mean much, I guess, to you if you price decreased. But it's kind of neat to look at price decreases just to kind of see what's been going on. I mean, like, I think, for instance, last time we looked at the Diamond Valley, and we can see that it's already decreased pretty much back to where it was before. So these are things to keep note of. Sometimes these price increases will just immediately decrease. It just depends on the market. And like, when you see like 7% or 10%, it's kind of like, eh. And we'll kind of notice that all these secret layer things right now are kind of dropping. I think they're going to probably drop more. My opinion, don't. I'm not any kind of finance guy, so I can't say much. But in my opinion, they'll probably keep dropping. They'll probably hit a low fairly quickly, but then after a little bit, they're going to probably increase back in price because people realize that you can't get them again, or allegedly, allegedly can't get them again. Anyways, so when I talk about this stuff, I should also say that it's not so much that I'm completely interested in these price increases or decreases. I just kind of this is kind of a way for me to find cards that people are semi interested in or disinterested in potentially, and it gives me something to talk about. So I want to that's what I wanted to kind of say that because I don't know if I've really said that before. But anyways, let's go to the first card, which is Knight of the White Orchid. Knight of the White Orchid came from Shards of Alara, so I like it. But anyways, it costs white. It's a creature human knight. It's a first strike 2/2. And when it comes into play, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a plains card and put it into play, then shuffle your library. This card's pretty good. I mean, regardless of it being a knight, like even if you're not doing knight tribal, this card is very good in my opinion. I mean, it's the one bad thing about it is if you are in a double color deck or dual color deck. I'll just say dual color. This will be reasonable to cast, at least on turn 2. On a tricolor deck, it will be slightly unreasonable to cast because when you have dual color, at least it's not as hard to get to a one color. Once you get into tri or above, dual color starts to become harder unless you are like heavily spec'd into it. For instance, when I do like a Jund decks or something, I tend to lean more towards green, and so for this to be, if this was like a dual green card in one of my Jund decks, I'd probably be more okay with it because I could probably actually cast it on turn 2, or more likely cast it on turn 2. But for this to be, but you just have to be cautious of that, I guess, when you come to this card if you're doing more than dual color. Regardless, even if you can't play this on turn 2, being a 2/2 for strike, pretty good. Allowing you to search a land card, pretty good. And then coming to play, doesn't come to play tapped, which is even better. And for dual decks, is really nice because if you do have 2 planes in your opening hand or something, you're like, oh well, crap, I need my other color. This allows you to bring out potentially your shock land because it says a plains card, so that means you can fetch shocks. So I think overall this card's pretty good. I understand why it's going up. I don't. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick. I'm gonna look at the trend. I feel like this wasn't like a super popular card. It spiked somewhere here. See, this is kind of interesting. It spiked around this set, whatever. I really don't know what this area was, but then it lowered back to like $1, and then bam, but this could have been the Eldraine one is because probably Knights came into play and people are like Knights, and so that's probably why it kind of caught more interest. But anyways, and I guess this was from a $4-ish card to a $5.50 card. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. This one's called Siphon Mind. It is 3 colors and a black sorcery. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. This card is very good in Commander. It, of course, makes everybody discard a card, which is no bueno generally, unless you're like a Dredge deck or something like that, or just a reanimation deck. But what's really nice is that, you know, as long as you get this out before someone dies, you're drawing 3 cards for 4 mana, and you're giving everybody else card disadvantage. So I think this card is pretty crazy. I'm surprised that it hasn't been, well, for 4 mana, I can see why it's not like, if this was 3 mana, but this is, we look back here, we can see that it went up from like $1.84 to $2.48, so like, it's not like super expensive or anything. I mean, for a draw card, it's, I guess, in the kind of slightly higher region, I guess. But I've noticed that like the other sets this comes from, they aren't like as high as this Commander Anthology 2. So this is another thing that you have to be wary of, is that this could mean that that all the other sets are going to go up, or this could just mean that someone really wanted Commander Anthology 2, or it's just Commander Anthology 2, which I believe it was a rare set, and so when people start buying them for some reason, then people start marking those up more, but even though you can get them cheaper in other sets. So that's something to be cautious about when you see these kind of price increases on specific sets. Anyways, go ahead and go to the next one. This will be a price decrease. This is a reserve-list card, Arabian Nights, and you can see that it dropped 7%, so this may go back up 7% or may go down 7%. But anyways, I wanted to look at this one. It's an interesting artwork. I haven't seen it before. So, Drop of Honey costs green. It's an enchantment. During your upkeep, the creature in play with the lowest power is destroyed and cannot be regenerated. If there's a tie, you choose which to destroy. Drop of Honey must be discarded if there are no creatures in play. So, this is good if you are a big green deck. So if you have a lot of big creatures, you're not doing tokens and stuff like that, this would probably be pretty good. You just have to be careful that you have targets. So if you're going against a sacrifice deck, you want to be probably pretty careful, because they can sacrifice their creatures probably pretty easily and then make you have to destroy your stuff. Things that can help you would be making your stuff indestructible, or etc. Or the alternative is that you don't really do a creature deck, and this is more of a, if green was used as a support in this set, or in the colors that you're choosing, that's where this could be potentially good as well. That way you are less creature focused and you're trying to do other things. I think maybe Cynic would be okay for this, trying to like stall out your opponents a little bit, or maybe Bant. Maybe Bant would be better. But I think it's a pretty cool card. I like seeing these old artworks. I've always said that, but what can I say? Let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is from the Secret Lair set. I have kind of gone over the sets that I like the most. If I see cards that I kind of like, I'll probably go ahead and go over them. And this one, probably out of all the Goblin arts, this is probably one of the better ones, and probably one of the better cards. Not sure about that, but what it is Goblin Bushwhacker. It costs red, and it's a creature Goblin Warrior. It has a kicker cost where you can pay one red, and it's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of the turn. This card is pretty crazy in the sense of, I mean, for a Goblin deck, it's pretty good, at least, in the sense of, if you just need a 1/1 Goblin, there you go. But if you can pay that extra 1 red, then for 2 mana, you suddenly have made all your other goblins have haste and give them +1. This could potentially be very good if you suddenly, like on a Krinko deck, I guess. If you had a Krinko deck, you have a bunch of tokens. You tap Krinko. Let's say you make 10 goblin tokens or so. You put out Goblin Bushwhacker, and now you have 10 tokens plus your other whatever tokens, and they'll have +1, and they all have haste. You could probably kill off somebody pretty quick. He is very good for goblin decks. So, I mean, even it says it doesn't say goblins, like other goblins you control get +1/+0 in haste. Like it is good for a lot of red decks. You don't even have to be a goblin deck. So pretty nice. The artwork, I think I like it. I like the idea of the goblin set. I like kind of this really cartoony. If you're aware of what Keyforge is, it sort of reminds me of Keyforge to a degree. But you don't see this in Magic a lot, so that's probably why I like it, but not enough to want to buy it for however much it is. I will say though that Secret Lair has been out a little bit long enough that people are actually doing pre-orders at a more reasonable price. As you can see, Goblin Bushwhacker has gone to like $5, which I'm not saying that's super reasonable, but I'm saying like it's better than I think some people are trying to, probably sell them for like $20 or something at the very beginning, but these things are going to probably drop off. Like I said, probably. I'm not going to guarantee that, of course, but probably drop off. For our Commander of Tonight, my friend showed me this one. This one is pretty cool. We'll probably be making one of these decks soon. Is it a Dragonlord Dromoka? He is 4 colorless, green, white, so Celestia Dragon. Legendary creature, Elder Dragon. I guess I gave that away. But he is a 5/7. He cannot be countered. He has flying and lifelink. Your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. I like this card a lot. This allows you to really take control of your turn. If you have like an excess amount of mana, and for green that may not be too hard to do, I would assume. This allows you to basically, if you can cast him and then cast whatever other spells you need to, that's great. Otherwise, if you can cast him and protect him for at least one round, next round you can set up. You can basically have something like, all right, I'm going to double all my creature's power with something, I think like the Snake God. He basically allows you to double all your creature's powers. This will allow you to potentially wipe out somebody. With him, he'd become a 10/7 flying lifelink, which would be pretty hard for a lot of people to go against. And on top of that, being a commander, I think there's a lot of cool things that you can do with this. This is where battle tricks on your turn would be very useful, I think. It seems like a very good card that you could use well. Now, I mean, if they could always kill him off of your turn, but I think if you can protect him, you should get to a point where you can protect him, try to mana ramp a little bit, get a way to protect him like Swift Boots or something like that, and then put him out. And then during that next round, you could probably really pop off, which would be really cool. I'm kind of excited to see what we can do with this. I don't know when that will be, but it'll be fun. And then for our random card of tonight, I saw this earlier, and I have a lot of graveyard decks, and I thought this was really cool. I'm going to probably try and pick up a couple of these because I could use them probably. This is Phyrexian Reclamation. This costs 1 black. It's an enchantment. You can pay 1 colorless, black, pay 2 life, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So this isn't, I would say, crazy or anything. This is nice though. Like when you have a dredge deck, and let's just say that, okay, I've dredged a lot of cards, I have some ways to cheat out stuff, but I can't cheat out everything. Maybe. But this allows you to bring back key cards that you just really need at that moment. And for two colorless, for 2 convert mana cost and paying 2 life, that's really not too bad. And just having that effect constantly is really good, I think. I don't know how I've never seen this card before somehow, but I like it. The artwork is interesting. You have this crazy guy with electric hands, and I guess he's kind of resummoning something. which whatever this thing is, I feel like I've seen this card before or something like this card art before, so I'm assuming that it's kind of playing towards that. But it's kind of weird because I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, because you have like, you know, you have the eyes, you have the teeth, and then you have this. This looks like a miniature skull head inside of it. I can't tell if it's supposed to be like an actual skull or if this is just supposed to be like another mouth or another face. I don't know, but it's interesting to say the least. And we will end off our night, as always, with some random cards. Let's see here. We'll go off and random card numero uno, a rat token. I'll have good luck with these sometimes. Let's go back to numero uno. There's Shepherd of the Rot. It's cost 1 colorless and a black. Is a creature zombie cleric. Tap. Each player loses 1 life for each zombie on the battlefield. For zombie decks, this is pretty on point. This allows you to, if you have a zombie army, because there's a couple ways to go zombies. You know, you can do the reanimation and have some big zombie, sort of big zombies. But there's ways to do that, but I think having the zombie army is where this really shines, and I don't know if people generally go zombie army. I have a zombie deck where I try to generate tons of zombie tokens, which I assume a lot of people try to put zombie tokens as well, but I actually don't know how many people go one way or the other. They try to do heavy reanimation or if they try to do just heavy zombie tokens. But regardless, you know, in zombies, there are cards that are just like, hey, make 13 zombies, or hey, make 8 zombies. And so having this out can just really mess you up too, because it's each player, but it definitely is good and can surprise people, I'd say, when you make those 13 zombies immediately. But anyways, our second random card for the night will be Cancel. Pretty vanilla, but why not? This is a 1 colorless blue instant and counter target spell. This is basically a worse counter spell, but for some reason this was more iconic to me than counterspell, only because I probably didn't play with enough blue, but I also didn't have like a ton of cards that were counterspell. I think because I came around a time spiral, but this art, that's probably why. I think Cancel is so iconic to me because it was in Shards of Alara, and Shards of Alara is one of my favorite sets, and so I remember seeing this artwork a lot. So this Cancel, I'm like, whoa, yeah, Cancel. This is a quintessential counterspell. And then then you see counterspell, you're like, oh, counterspell is the quintessential counterspell. Who would have thought? But and then the worst part is that there's just better cancels. There's like the one that I think you counter target spell and then you scry one or something. Regardless, though, this will probably be one of the more iconic cards for me, just because I remember seeing it a lot in Shards of Alara. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time.